They lied to you about cybersecurity. If I were starting out in 2025, I'd ignore 90% of the advice out there about the college degrees, certifications, job boards, all of it. They made it seem like there was a clear step-by-step path. But after 15 years across the military, Department of Justice, private sector, freelance, and consulting, I can tell you that path is broken. The path we were promised is not real, especially if you're neurodivergent or part of a diversity initiative, or burned out or self-taught and trying to break in without playing the corporate game. You've heard the usual advice. Get a degree in cybersecurity, stack certifications, apply to 100 jobs, grind in Discord, network like your rent depends on it. And still, you're stuck, invisible, wondering what you're doing wrong. But here's the truth. The rules changed and nobody updated the instructions. Here's what's really happening in cybersecurity right now. A third of job listings are fake. Most resumes never reach a real person, and recruiters ghost more than they respond. AI filters run the hiring process, and whole departments are being outsourced with no warning. You can follow all the advice, get the certs, polish your resume, apply like crazy, and still get nothing. They'll tell you to hustle harder or grab another cert, but that doesn't work anymore. The ladder is broken, and the predictability is gone. Cybersecurity used to be a really solid career path, but now it's unstable and full of dead ends. That's why I'm not here to help you get hired. I'm here to help you take control by changing your entire approach. If I were starting from zero, without any certs or connections or any clue, this is exactly what I do. Most people stay stuck because they're following someone else's playbook, usually one that doesn't fit. They spend time and money chasing certifications they don't need, trying to memorize everything, or copying careers that don't match how they think. If that's you, it's not your fault. But now it's your responsibility. Here's what actually works in 2025. First, pick a cybersecurity niche that works with your brain. Cybersecurity is massive. It's not just one job, it is dozens of jobs. There's no single entry point. And the more you treat it like a single path, the more stuck you'll get. You don't need to pick the perfect job, but you do need direction. Otherwise, you'll waste months or maybe years forcing your brain to fit into a role that completely burns you out and overwhelms you. So ask yourself, do I like structure or freedom? Do I prefer patterns or people? Do I want to break things or protect them? Do I need fast feedback or deep focus? Start there and cross out anything that drains you. That's useful data. It tells you what to stop chasing. 2, build a second brain before you get a cert. You're not going to remember 90% of what you learn unless you capture it. When I first started, my notes were scattered across tabs, bookmarks, sticky notes, notebooks, and half-finished labs. It felt like starting from zero every single day. What I needed was a place to store all of that stuff that mattered. So I built a second brain, which is a personal knowledge base where I save commands, walkthroughs, gotchas, and fixes. It's all searchable and organized for how my brain actually works. The rule is simple. If I learn it, it goes in. That one habit saved me from relearning the same things over and over. 3, learn in public. Teach 2 steps behind. If I waited until I felt ready to post something, I'd still be waiting. Cyber rewards people who show their process, not just finished work. People who say, here's what I learned, here's what confused me, here's how I figured it out. That's how people trust you. That's how you get noticed. And that's how you build momentum. So write up your labs, share your notes, explain things like you're talking to a friend. You're just showing progress. And if someone corrects you as a beginner, that's a bonus. You just learned something new. 4, don't chase certs. Do labs match real jobs? Certifications alone don't get you hired. Showing that you can do the job does. I've seen people with 5 certs and no hands-on work get passed over for someone with 1 solid lab write-up that matched the job exactly. If I were starting now, I'd pick 1 cert that opens doors, probably Security Plus, and then pull 5 job listings I actually want. Then I'd break them down. What skills keep showing up? What tools? What tasks? And I'd go build projects that prove I can already do that work. 5, build a leverage bank from day one. Most people build skills and have nothing to show for it, but every note, diagram, lab, or fix that you create is an asset, if you keep it somewhere useful. This is one of my favorite concepts I've made up, and it's the difference between renting your skills and owning your future. You're building assets that stay with you and compound over time. Most jobs take your effort and turn it into company profit. You walk away with burnout and maybe a line on a resume, but your leverage bank is yours. It compounds, it pays you back. Every time you create something useful, you're making your future easier. You're building a system you can pull from, whether you're applying, freelancing, teaching, or walking away from a toxic role. It's how you invest in your own personal capital from day one. And over time, it gives you options, real ones. That's how you build a career that works for you instead of just getting exploited by companies all the time. As someone who is autistic, I have a really hard time playing the game of enterprise security. So that's why I started focusing on ownership of business, not job titles or loyalty to a single company, just using jobs as a stepping stone towards something that I actually controlled. What if the fastest way into cybersecurity is becoming a thought leader? I get it. That phrase, thought leader, sounds like it belongs on LinkedIn, but stay with me. I'm talking about being visible on purpose, because in 2025, being qualified isn't enough. The people who actually get interviews, referrals, and callbacks are not always the most technical. They're the ones showing their work in public, being highly visible, the ones sharing what they're learning as they go. And here's why that matters. You and your resume can get filtered by AI bots, but when you post a breakdown of a lab or share a quick walkthrough or explain a concept in your own words, you're doing something that no resume can. You're showing your thinking and proving that you can communicate. And you're giving people a reason to remember and listen to you. Even 10 solid posts can shift your entire trajectory. I've seen it over and over. Someone shares a script, a fix, a project, and that one post leads to a DM from a recruiter or a referral from someone they didn't even know was watching. And if you're worried that you're too new to post anything, that's actually your advantage. You remember what confused you during the learning process, and you know where other beginners get stuck. Experts forget what it's like to be at the starting line, so teach from 2 steps behind. Show your process, and that's what draws people in. You can say things like, here's what tripped me up in this lab. I couldn't find a simple explanation, so I wrote one. I just finished this, and here's what helped me. And if you're worried about being wrong, that's part of it. Everybody's wrong at some point, and you'll get better with feedback. But staying silent doesn't protect you, it just keeps you invisible. What you need to do is show up. The people who can open doors for you are watching, not on the job boards, on their feed, so give them something to find. I built Cyber Zero to Hero because everyone kept asking me the same damn thing. Every week, sometimes every day, I get the same question. How do I actually get into cybersecurity? I got this question from smart, driven people, friends, coworkers, people in my DMs, just doing everything that they were told and still getting nowhere. They were stuck in loops of bad advice, wasted certs, and job boards that led to nothing. So I finally built what I wish someone had handed me on day one. Cyber Zero to Hero started as something I made to help friends, like actually sit down and walk them through the process. I built every tool to take the guesswork out and make it way easier to start from zero with a plan. You don't have to figure out your niche. I made a quiz that does that for you. After literally rage quitting every other one I found online, I hated them so much that I had to create my own. You don't have to organize your notes. I built a ready-to-use second brain template so you can just fill it in as you go through your learning process. You don't have to wonder what to practice. I created labs and a PDF document that tells you exactly what roadmap to take. You don't have to wait until you're ready. The skill file, the brag file, and the personal branding strategy is already included. I use this exact system to go from burned out and invisible to landing $250,000 offers. And now I've made it so you can plug in and get moving fast. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels and you're ready for a step-by-step path that actually fits your brain, go check it out. If I could go back to day one of my cybersecurity career, here's what I wish someone would have pulled me aside and said. 1. Lean into being a beginner. This is the only time no one expects you to have the answers. Use it. Ask the dumb questions. Admit when you're confused. People are way more likely to help if you're honest about what you don't know. 2. Volunteer to take notes. Even when you're lost, taking notes helps you pick up context fast. You'll learn the lingo, you'll start to understand how things connect, and people will assume that you're sharper than you are just because you can summarize what's going on. I built trust early on in my career doing exactly this. 3. Feeling overwhelmed is normal. Cyber isn't one skill, it's a whole world. You're gonna feel like you're behind, and that's just part of it. You don't need a 5-year plan. Whenever you take each step, the next step will unlock and you'll see it. Take it one lab, 1 week at a time. 4. Studying without action is a waste of time. I spent years reading and watching videos before I ever built anything. That was a huge mistake. You need to apply your knowledge, break stuff, fix it, and write down what happened. 5. Keep a skill file and a brag file. Every time you learn something, even if it seems small, save it. If you've used grep for the first time, add it to your skill file. When imposter syndrome hits, those files are proof that you're making progress in everything that you've done. 6. Teach from 2 steps behind. You don't need to be an expert to explain something. Share what confused you and how you figured it out. Write it down, talk it out. It'll help you remember and it'll help someone else too. 7. Get used to being seen. You don't have to be loud or polished, but you do need to show up. Post your progress, share your labs, ask for help. That's how people find you, and that's how opportunities start. No one's coming to hand you a roadmap. But if you show up, even messily, people will notice. This is how you build confidence, by doing. What you do need is a learning system, one that works with how your brain actually works. Cybersecurity, it's about learning how to keep going without burning out or starting over every week. That's a setup I wish someone had handed me on day one. I didn't build this system because I had everything figured out. I built it because I was lost. I needed it when I was sitting in a skiff, wondering if I was too slow to keep up. When I left a PhD program, when I realized nobody was coming to hand me a plan that actually worked. So I forged my own. And now that system is helping other people, especially the ones who have been overlooked, burned out, or stuck trying to follow advice that doesn't apply to them. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start building something real, then let's go. You need a system that works for you. I built mine because nothing else fit. And I'm not alone. A lot of us never fit the traditional path, and we're done trying. The goal now is to build something that lasts. Something that gives you control over your time, your work, and your direction. Something that gives you sovereignty. Cybersecurity can give you that, but only if you stop waiting for permission and take control of your own career. You've got everything you need to start, so take the next step. You're just getting started.